Mia Jensen had already decided that today would be different, even if everything inside her wished she could disappear. The old pickup truck that rattled her family into this new Oregon town still sat outside the small house they now called home. Her dad's military boxes were stacked in corners, unpacked. Her mom was already working double shifts at the diner down the road. And Mia, 14 and sharp as a whip, was about to face her first day at Lincoln High School alone. She stepped off the bus, worn sneakers scraping the icy pavement. Students milled around the front steps, laughing, greeting each other, not paying her any mind at first. Inside, the halls smelled like floor polish and stale textbooks. She hugged her battered backpack tighter, reading the classroom numbers taped to a folded schedule she could barely hold steady in her trembling hands. Her first period went quietly enough. She avoided eye contact, nodded when called on, and answered correctly. The teacher raised an eyebrow at her clear, steady voice, but didn't press her. But the moment the lunch bell rang, she felt the shift. Kids streamed into the cafeteria, filling tables by the window, corners, and wall edges. Mia scanned for an empty spot. She found one near the back, next to the big vending machines humming in the corner. She sat down, unwrapped a peanut butter sandwich she'd made herself at dawn, and tried to steady her heartbeat. She didn't notice Jake Miller at first. He was leaning back with his feet up at the center table, surrounded by his crew, loud, cocky, with their brand-name jackets and lazy grins. Jake loved being the king of this cafeteria. He spotted her, the new girl sitting by herself, easy pickings for his midday entertainment. "Hey!" he called out, loud enough for heads to turn. Mia didn't lift her eyes. She hoped he'd forget her. But footsteps came closer until his shadow fell across her table. She looked up. Jake towered over her, a smirk tugging at the edge of his mouth. His friends flanked him like bodyguards. "You deaf or something? You're in my seat." His tone dripped with fake politeness. The kids at nearby tables watched, waiting. Some smirked, some whispered. Mia forced herself to swallow the dry lump in her throat. "I didn't see your name on it," she said quietly, her voice calm but steady. A couple of kids gasped, half amused, half nervous. Jake's grin widened. He leaned down, palms flat on the table, nose inches from hers. "Smart mouth, must be new. Let me teach you something." In one quick motion, he grabbed her sandwich, still in its wax paper, and tossed it over his shoulder. It landed with a dull splat near the trash can. Laughter bubbled up from his friends. Mia clenched her fists under the table, trying to breathe slowly like her dad taught her. "Stay calm. Pick your moment. Don't react on their terms." Jake stepped closer. "Why so quiet, huh? Got nothing to say now?" he tapped. Her forehead with a finger, testing her. She didn't flinch. She just looked him dead in the eye, studying him, his overconfident stance, the way his friends fed off his swagger. Mia stood up slowly. She was small compared to Jake, but she didn't step back. She took one step forward instead. The laughter died down as students leaned in. A teacher poked their head into the cafeteria, but didn't see enough to intervene. Yet. Said, "That's enough," Mia said, her voice barely above a whisper but sharper than Jake expected. His smirk faltered for half a second, just enough for Mia to see the truth behind the bluster. He was all noise, no backbone. His hand shot out, trying to push her shoulder, but she was ready. She shifted her weight to the side, grabbed his wrist with surprising speed, and twisted it just enough to make him grunt. The cafeteria went dead silent, except for the squeak of shoes on the floor. Jake yanked his arm back, more humiliated than hurt. Before he could say another word, Mia stepped even closer. "Don't ever touch me again," she said, voice like steel. Jake blinked, caught off guard, trapped in front of everyone who now stared at him, at her. Mia picked up her backpack, lifted her chin, and stepped around him. She didn't run. She walked out of the cafeteria, leaving behind a trail of whispers. In her mind, she heard her dad's voice. "Pick your battles. Fight only when it counts." Today, Mia decided she wasn't running anymore. The next day, rumors about what happened in the cafeteria spread faster than the morning bell. By the time Mia walked through the front doors, whispers and sideways glances trailed her down every hallway. Some kids looked at her with newfound respect, others with curiosity. A few looked away quickly, afraid they'd be next on her list. Mia didn't care about any of it. She just needed to get through the day without more trouble. Jake Miller, however, wasn't done. His pride stung worse than any bruise. He'd never been shown up in front of everyone before, especially not by a small new girl who didn't even flinch. His friends nudged him between classes, trying to hype him up, feeding him lines like, "Are you really gonna let her embarrass you like that?" Jake nodded, jaw tight. He had a plan. He always did. Mia sat alone in math class when she saw a folded piece of paper drop onto her desk. She looked up. Jake stood 2 rows over, pretending to tie his shoelaces. Mia slowly opened the note. "Meet me behind the gym. We need to settle this." She knew it wasn't a request. She felt a twist in her gut but crumpled the note and slid it into her pocket. She wouldn't run. Not now. When the final bell rang, students poured outside like water breaking through a dam. Mia waited until the hall cleared. She walked calmly to her locker, dropped her books inside, and adjusted her old denim jacket. Her dad's words echoed in her mind. "Always stand your ground, but no. Your exits." She inhaled slowly, then made her way to the back of the gym. A small crowd had already gathered. Jake leaned against the brick wall, arms folded, his crew flanking him. When Mia stepped into the fading afternoon light, the whispers grew louder. Jake pushed off the wall, smirking. "Look who showed up, brave little mouse," he mocked. His friends laughed, but it sounded forced. Mia didn't respond. She stopped a few feet away, her boots planted firmly in the gravel. Jake stepped closer, circling her like a wolf testing its prey. "You think you're tough? Think you can make me look stupid in front of everyone?" he sneered. Mia tilted her head slightly. "You did that yourself." His smirk vanished. Without warning, Jake lunged forward, trying to shove her, but Mia had seen it coming. She shifted her weight, sidestepped, and Jake stumbled past her, off balance. His friends snickered. Jake turned, red-faced, and charged again. This time Mia didn't move. She braced, caught his arm under hers like her dad had taught her, and twisted. Jake howled, dropping to one knee in the gravel. The kids gasped. Someone pulled out a phone. Mia leaned in, voice low but clear. "Don't ever touch me again, or I promise next time I'll drop you flat." Jake yanked his arm free and scrambled up, brushing off dirt, glaring at the circle of kids now watching him with wide eyes. He looked around. No one stepped in to help. Even his friends had backed away, seeing the tide turn. Mia stepped back, chest pounding, but her face gave nothing away. "We done here?" she asked, her voice calm as a razor. Jake spat on the ground, muttered something no one heard, and shoved through the crowd, storming off alone. The circle broke. Kids whispered. Some clapped her on the shoulder as she passed. She didn't smile, didn't brag. She just walked away, her head held high. As she turned the corner, Mia finally allowed herself a breath. She pulled her phone from her pocket and tapped out a quick message to her dad. "Hey, guess what? I'm okay. I handled it." She slipped the phone back in her jacket and kept walking, her boots crunching the gravel behind the gym. By tomorrow, she knew, Lincoln High would remember her name for all the right reasons, and this time, no one would mess with the new girl again.